Hello everyone. These two news articles were published the previous Sunday on 22nd June 25, highlighting a very important problem being faced by our hill states, where massive amount of tourists are reaching these regions and destroying the local climate, the local ecology, the entire governance and administration. That's what we are going to talk about in this particular video. The first and foremost point is the rising income levels of Indians, spanning from the metropolitan to cosmopolitan cities and tier 1 and tier 2 towns and cities. Hey, and even if I can include a large sizable area of the rural India, the income levels has been rising since 2 decades. Now as income levels are increasing, they are going to spend, and they're going to spend on host of different stuff. Travel and tourism is one of the most important area, because that somewhere was a luxury for these people, for the emerging middle class and even the upper middle. 3 decades before, they couldn't think of traveling across the country or traveling the globe. Now when they're traveling within India, they typically head towards the hilly regions. People who are staying in northern India, they head off to states like Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and surrounding regions, Jammu Kashmir. Okay, so these are the hilly areas which are preferred by the North Indians. When we go towards the west and the southern and the northeast respectively, people who are residing nearby those regions, they travel to those hilly areas. So it's a common behavior that moment Indians feel like going on a vacation, they head off to the hills. Now what's the problem? The problem is that the quantity. When they are traveling or they are dashing off to these hilly areas, they dash off in huge numbers. If you'll pause the video in the starting and try to read some paragraphs over the articles, you'll observe that the writers are trying to highlight numerous behavioral aspects of the Indian culture, which has been changing in past 2 decades along with the income levels. Indians are owning high quantity of cars, automobile, the 4 wheels. More and more Indians are able to afford good quality cars. Earlier they used to travel within India through different modes of transport like railways, buses, and depending on the affordability, they used to use the airplanes. But since past 2 decades, people have been using their cars to travel to the length and breadth. They want to enjoy the driving. That's what the income levels have actually done. The aspirations of average Indian has skyrocketed. Earlier the roads which were available, for example people traveling from Delhi to Kullu Manali or anywhere else across the country, from the city to the hilly area, earlier the roads, the quality of network of roads were not that very good. Now since past 1 decade, the quality of roads have tremendously improved. The connectivity, the road connectivity is really a very high quality. That's a good thing. Now where is the problem? The problem is that people are now traveling in thousands and thousands and numbers on a given particular day. You read inside the article that from Delhi almost around 15,000 vehicles are reaching places like Shimla, which earlier had the capacity of only around 4 to 5,000 vehicles. That much amount of vehicle it could the administration were able to tackle. Now it's around more than double. Now this situation is not being alone faced by Shimla. The entire the stretch across the Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, they are witnessing massive influx of cars. from, not just from Delhi, but from the major areas of the northern India. Now when these cars are going in such high numbers, roads are getting clogged, jams are regular. The native people of these particular, the cities in these states are facing massive issues. They aren't able to, live a normal life. The local infrastructure, like availability of water, electricity, parking facilities, the hotel industry, that's a big, a big chunk. They attract a lot of tourists, because when tourists are going to travel, they're going to stay, and they require quality, hoteling. Only then people are going to, travel to those places. Now state governments and central government, since past 2 decades, have massively improved the overall infrastructure available in these states, and not just these 2 states, it must be there across the country. So now people are not, they don't have apprehensions while traveling from their particular, main metropolitan or cosmopolitan city, and traveling say around 1000 kilometers, 800, 500 kilometers is now a basic norm. People from Delhi are traveling through their, these luxury motorbikes, cars, SUVs, the Thars, to Leh and Ladakh. They love it. They want to, it's give a thrill to them. It give a thrill to them, but imagine the consequences of such high numbers reaching these particular hill cities. The infrastructure is crumbling. You can go to the search engine and see, you can read multiple, news, and you can see huge amount of videos and images where there are kilometers long jam which is there in these states, and yet people are not taking a break. So the moment there is a summer season, people will start dashing off to these hilly areas without realizing that the negative consequences these hill cities are going to face. Now the other reason behind it, apart from the wealth and quantity of cars they are buying, the quality of road network developed by the government, okay, the factor is somewhere the availability of greens. Urban areas across the country in India, the percentage of green forest area has been shrinking drastically. On a more practical note, if you understand, the percentage of greens present in one city currently in 2025 is way less compared 25-30 years before. This has happened due to massive urbanization, construction of real estate, both commercial, residential, things required by the government. It has reduced the forest and the green area in the cities. We hardly have any green area left in places like places like Mumbai or Chennai, Gurgaon, Delhi, Kolkata, or the 25-30 emerging urban centers in India. You don't find lush green cities anymore. Even Delhi used to be earlier called, it used to be a green city, not anymore. So as greens are reducing drastically in these areas, so the moment the citizens, the residents who are residing in these places, the moment they have a week off, say around 3 days or 4 days, they immediately dash off to those hill areas where they can enjoy nature, where they can have breathtaking views. They can have somewhere in the lawn and the mountain, beside the river, and just enjoy. That's it. They really want, that's a luxury for them. Why? Because that sort of a surrounding, an environment, is no longer available in their own city. The cities are concrete jungle. Literally. You won't find, even small mini urban forests you won't able to find. Ones which are surviving are finding it hard to, they're struggling to remain intact, because every other day, governmental policies are coming which are against the existence of greens and forest. It's a altogether different topic, but it's directly related to it. So when you and me want to chill out with in a natural environment, and we don't have a place, so how long we are going to sit inside our rooms and enjoy the air condition? We want to go into the lap of the nature, and we don't have that sort of environment in our cities. So we take out our SUV, start the engine, and we dash off to the nearest hill station. And as income levels have been rising, as I stated, they don't mind spending a higher amount on the fuel or the accommodation and lots of other expenditure. They want to enjoy the luxury of nature. They want to enjoy the entire the beautiful scenes, which is not available anywhere across the city area. So this is again a second important reason why the hilly regions are getting overpopulated, and somewhere it's now crumbling. You'll find n number of videos over YouTube stating the seriousness of the problem, and that's the reason these two news articles were published on the Sunday. So I request the Indians and even people across the world to understand this particular phenomena, that as we speak of climate change, the degradation of the environment, the challenges being faced by the nature, this particular part of human behavior where they are destroying their native place and then they are traveling to a different city or a region in a hope to get happiness from nature. Is this behavior justified? Does it make sense? They're not demanding urban forest, mini forest, or the existing forest or the greens. Forget about forest, existing greens in the city. Request or demand from their government that don't destroy them. On the other hand, increase its percentage, because the percentage in India is terrible. That will have a very huge positive impact on the entire quality of life up on the hills. And it's not just about the native people. The entire the hilly terrain, the entire ecosystem will get benefited from it. Why? Because people will enjoy the luxury of nature within their city. But that is not happening. Government is massively investing on development, and for them development is building 6 lane, 10 lane, 14 lanes highways, broad highways, broad roads, good quality, great connectivity, okay, leading for easily we can travel hundreds of kilometers from our cars. We reach there, we then utilize the local the resources, which put up a burden on the local state government, but state government remain mum or muted because they get revenue. When lakhs and lakhs of people are traveling, so the government is making revenue, people and even the native people are making money. But imagine the amount of devastation which is actually happening there. Imagine the amount of carbon emissions which are actually happening, and people don't realize it, because they go for the, weekend vacation, they come back and everything is normal, and then again new set of people go to these particular hilly areas, they put additional pressure, and this keeps on happening every season on season. And we take it, and even during winters there is no stoppage, because quality of roads have improved. The government is providing the facility that okay, we'll clear the snow and will make you feel comfortable. So people are not stopping even the winter regions. Even in winters they are going in high numbers to these particular places, and then you can see in a news huge amount of jams which are actually occurring in these hilly areas. So to suffice, this problem has very deep layers. We as Indians have to realize that there is a huge negative impact of some of our actions. We think we are enjoying, but is the nature enjoying? Are the local people who are staying there who are enjoying? They are not just making money, they are making money at a huge cost. and they are now realizing, and that's the reason they are voicing out their concerns, and these sort of articles are getting published because the global media is also somewhere concerned. These hilly areas have a worldwide impact, not just on India. So I'll conclude over here, and it will be interesting to know your feedback and opinion. Kindly share in the comment section. Have a nice day. Goodbye.